started on the process.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, everyone is present. We do public comment here?
Don't we need to say the pledge?
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public comment here is limited just to the agenda item of seating the new board member. Is there any public comment online or in the room? With no public comment, let's...
Can we have a brief explanation?
Sure. Pursuant to the Pennsylvania Public School Code, Section 3-315, when a vacancy occurs in the constituency of the Board of School Directors, the remaining board members, by a majority vote, are authorized to appoint a replacement to fill that vacancy. That person would have to be a resident, 18 years of age or older, and of good moral character, and they would serve for the remainder of the term of the vacated position or until the first Monday of December following the next municipal election, which in this case would be the first Monday of December of 1985. So the person filling this vacancy, if they wanted to continue beyond that date, would have, oh, did I say 19? I do that consistently, 2025, I'm sorry. So to be clear, the person would serve until the first Monday of December of 2025. If they were interested in serving on the board after that date, they would have to participate in the primary and general elections for school director. And with that, I would turn it back over to Vice President Strunk.
We move to number 3, new board member interviews, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Finnerty.
So, good evening. We have 3 candidates originally submitted their application. Unfortunately, one of the candidates had to withdraw his application. Mr. Robert Coons Jr. is withdrawing. So we'll be first interviewing Stacy Hebert.
Hello, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for putting yourself forward for this. If you can, so the way this is going to work is we have your resume and your application. We also have the questions that you completed in the room next door. And I'll be asking 3 questions that are scripted, and then the board may have additional questions.
Okay.
This is being publicly broadcast.
Yes, I just found that out. They didn't tell me that today.
So if you could, the first question is just, we have your resume and letter of interest. If you can briefly introduce yourself and share your involvement in the community.
Sure. My name is Stacy Hebert, and I am a Pottsgrove graduate. I'm not going to say what year, but I've been highly involved in the community even when I came to Pottsgrove. And when we moved back here, I said I want to come back to Pottsgrove. So I'm vested in the education process here. I have 5 kids in the district. I have twins at Ringing. I have 1 at Lower, and I have 2 at middle school. So that means next year I'll have 1 in every school. So I have been a volunteer the whole time my kids have been in school. I feel that, you know, with the kids and succession in schools, it's good to have the parents involved. I've been on the PTA for the last 10 years, been PTA president at Ringing for 4 years, been on the board for the PTA. I am on the PBIS committee for Ringing Rocks as a parent volunteer. I also participated in the parent advisory board that we had briefly with the district as well. And I also coach soccer for the kids. So I am definitely involved and know that, you know, being involved in the community and being a volunteer is definitely a positive, you know, when it comes to the children's education.
Thank you. Question number 2 is, why do you want to be on the board?
For the students. I feel that I am deeply vested in education and the educational advancements of today's children. You know, advocating for everyone, for the parents, for the teachers, for the students, for the community. And just being able to bring a new perspective on to the board and collaborate, you know, with the current board and hopefully learn, you know, new policies, new procedures, and new ways that, you know, people look at things. You know, I'm only on one side of things, so I'd like to learn more on the educational side of things and, you know, policies, and like I said, all of that.
What school district issues do you believe need the most attention, and why are you the best candidate to help address them?
That's a tough question. I would have to say, off the top of my head, communication. Not communication as far as like, you know, principal communicating with student. I would say have the overall communication of the board to teachers, to staff, to parents, to the community. I sometimes feel that the board as a whole, it's hard because I guess there's limitations as to what feedback you can obtain. So I feel that communication and just transparency within the board to those stakeholders. Did I answer the last part? I'm sorry.
Why are you the best candidate to help address them?
So I feel I'm the best candidate because I do have good communication skills with my peers, with, you know, the people that I interact with daily, as well as, you know, leadership qualities. You know, being on a board, you know, everyone says, oh, I don't like working in groups. I don't like working in groups. But you have to be a good collaborator, and you have to respect everyone's opinions, and then, you know, learn from them as well.
So board members, they are the 3 questions that we had prepared. Is there any other questions you would like to ask of Ms. Aber?
Sometimes it's just easier to just start with this one. Chuck, do you have a question you want to ask? No? Okay. Then, okay. Tanya, go ahead, and you guys just go around then.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I've been there before in that seat, and it is not easy, especially finding out you're going to be filmed
Yeah.
just moments ago. So well done.
Thank you.
All right, Stacy. What do you consider your strongest skill set that you would bring to the board? And how would you like to use it to accomplish what?
I would say my strongest skill set would be leadership. I mean, I feel like I'm a leader in a lot of my life. I mean, I'm a mother of 5. I'm an entrepreneur. We have our own business. So I can bring different facets of my life into it as far as parenting, with educational needs, budgeting. I did I used to work in restaurants, so we did, P&Ls. I did financial statements. I understand budgets. So I feel like well-rounded, I guess you could say, leadership and well-rounded, that, the qualities that I can bring to the board.
And I'll just echo the sentiment, we appreciate that you came out, because it's not easy.
Thank you. Okay. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
my brain unfroze for a moment, so I do have a question. You're president of PTA. Can you list an example of a problem that you encountered as a president, and without getting into personalities, how you dealt with it?
As PTA president, you deal with a lot because everyone, I feel like, comes to you with every problem there is or anytime they need something. I would say, the only problem that I really dealt with that threw me was just maybe some disrespectful parents, and having to deal with that at some of the events, because we're there for the kids. We're not there to make it more difficult for the kids in that environment. So I would say that was probably one of the hardest things, is just difficulty with some parents.
And you will never ask me if I have for a question again.
Well,
Sorry.
That concludes, concludes our questioning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Thompson will kind of escort you back to the waiting area, and we'll continue our process.
Okay.
And thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for putting your name forth. Hello, sir. It's Luis Corminas. Am I saying that right?
Corominas,
Okay.
so more or less.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming out. So to explain the process, the board has your letter of interest and your resume. They also have the questions that you completed while you were in the other room. And we're going to ask three scripted questions, and we have a couple of board questions that we'll pose as well. Okay?
Sure.
I should tell you, we're also broadcasting this meeting. Life of board members. We are public. So first question, sir. We have your resume and letter of interest. Please briefly share your involvement in the community.
Sure. So I am, on a school district level, a member of the PTA at West Pottsgrove. I try to participate in every meeting and typically attend or volunteer at most of the events the PTA puts on or organizes. Also have served over the last, 2 years as a volunteer coach for T-ball, instructional baseball as well, just getting to interact with families and young people in the community. That community service element, working with families and kids is a bit of a passion of mine, so I enjoy spending time there.
So why do you want to be on the board?
Well, I think the passion for service, obviously. This community means a lot to me. My wife and I, when we were looking for somewhere to move and settle down and plant roots, specifically chose this area. So we're very invested in that. In the area, I have a young child who's been in school for, this is her second year now in the district. She's in first grade. So seeing the wonderful experience that she's had thus far has made me want to contribute and help, continue to foster and provide that experience and even hopefully improve upon that experience for other families that enter the district as well. I've also got another child on the way, so there's a vested interest in, rolling up my sleeves and investing my time and energy into hopefully helping provide a better future for all of the families in this district.
Well, congratulations on expecting.
Thank you.
Question number 3. What school district issues do you believe need the most attention, and why are you the best candidate to help address them?
Well, just in looking at, observing some of the previous meetings, looking at meeting agendas, knowing also some of the issues that were covered last year, one of the big looming things I see are many infrastructure upgrades, construction projects, facility upgrades for athletics. I know there's a 3-year plan going on right now. My professional, 9-to-5 job is in construction, so I have experience working with construction bids, understanding the bidding process, understanding the subcontracting process that goes into these things, how these projects get financed as well and paid for, ensuring that bids are thorough and comprehensive, and understanding how these projects work and are run and are managed. So I think there's that piece there that's important. I also know that it's an interesting time in the world. There are a lot of different issues that people tend to, have very strong opinions about, and I think it's important to, help find consensus. And I'm somebody that will value the opinions of others, whether or not they agree or align with my own, and try to, be very understanding to people and try to see their perspective and points of view. And I think that that's an important skill that we need in these times right now.
Okay, so that concludes our written questions. Dr. Nippert, do you have a question you'd like to ask again? Microphone.
See? Yeah, let me turn it. Let me leave it on.
Chuck, it needs to be the same question you asked.
No.
Yes, it does. It
Pardon?
needs to be the same question you asked the previous candidate, applicant.
Oh,
Them's the rules.
unfortunately, I don't remember what I basically asked. Oh, yeah. You're a member of PTA. Can you describe a situation that arose and how you handled it?
Sure. So we had a situation when we were budget planning for the current year where there was a disagreement in terms of the set aside for, I believe it's the funds that go to teachers for instruction that they're able to utilize, or for classroom supplies. And in previous years, that amount had not been fully utilized. So the original budget was for a lower amount based on the average of the previous years, and there were a small group of parents that were particularly passionate about making sure that we budget allotted for the maximum amount, so I tried to just get involved in it for myself and try to understand what their concerns were, even though, we had looked at I know the people that had prepared the budget had looked at the data and seen that, this was based on an average of what was typically getting used, and those who were advocating for the larger amount were saying, well, what if it all gets used? Trying to say, well, just trying to get involved and say, well, I think we can make a reasonable assertion that not every teacher is going to utilize that because we have a body of history to do that, but perhaps we can find a middle ground where we look at, okay, well, what do we believe the maximum possible increase would be, and to try to work towards maybe finding that middle ground in terms of how much we had actually set aside for that budget amount, which I do believe was the end result of that discussion. So.
Hi, Louis. What do you see as your strongest skill set, and what is it you'd like to help the board accomplish by using that skill set?
Sure. So I have a pretty varied professional experience stemming from collegiate athletics to public education myself, and then into the business world in facilities and construction. And I believe that that combination of experience at this time uniquely suits some of the needs of the board. In addition, I tend to be very high energy, very passionate, extremely motivated to causes that are important to me. And this, I believe that, being a board member is very important to me. Serving the community is very important to me. So I would invest as much time and energy and passion as I possibly could into utilizing my skill sets to try and help the district in whatever ways I can, based on my experience and based on the needs, or based on the, I don't even want to say needs, based on what I've seen the district is facing in terms of issues coming up right now, the things that are on the agenda, items that need to be planned for and are going to vote. Sure.
Thank you so much for putting your name forward and participating in this questioning this evening. It's not easy, so we really do appreciate that. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to, the board's going to transition, and their job now is to choose from 2 outstanding candidates and seat a new board member.
Just want to say thank you very much. I appreciate all of your time and I appreciate all that you do. So thank you.
So since we've heard from both candidates, I'd like to call for a roll call vote and ask that Secretary of the Board, Ashley, take that roll call vote for us. Ashley?
Do we do any discussion or anything, or are you just like a preliminary?
Yeah, I think preliminary vote first. That, all right?
Discussion can be very uncomfortable.
Yes, I know, I agree.
Okay, so I will start with you, Chuck.
And just to be clear, this is an actual vote, if there is a majority preference.
Yeah, this is an
Yes.
actual vote, and if we have the majority, we'll seat that person.
Lewis? Okay. Tanya? Anik? Patty? Lewis? Jay?
Lewis?
And I say Lewis, so he has majority.
Well, you could finish the vote.
Okay.
yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Stacy. And Stacy.
Okay. And, all right, so we have 5 votes for Lewis and 3 for Stacy.
Lewis, congratulations. Stacy, we continue to appreciate your involvement and your passion here. I ask you to stay involved with the school and the community.
Thank you, Stacy.
So we now do the swearing-in. Lewis, we'd like you to come up so you can be seated, and we're going to do a swearing-in.
that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Louis, thank you. We're at number 5 on the agenda, which is any public comment. Is there anything online or in the audience? If no public comment, I'd like a motion to adjourn. Second? We're adjourned. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. Roll call, all 9 members are present. All 9 members are present. And for those joining us online or here, I'd like to announce that our newest board member was just seated prior to this, and like to welcome Louis Coromina to the board. We now move to number 2, public comment. As a reminder, there are 2 public comment sessions at each board meeting. The first is just on board agenda items that we'd be voting on or discussing tonight. So is there any public comment right now on the agenda items? There's a second comment section at the end of the meeting for other items. Any public comment on agenda items? Yes, sir. We'd like you to sit down. The mic there, there's a button to turn on. Please just, if you would, give us your name and your township.
Martin Schreiber, and I live in Upper Pottsgrove. I just wanted to, I noticed that Mrs. Rhodes is on the agenda this evening for her retirement, and as my kids pass through the school district and as I'm an employee, I just wanted to thank her for her time spent here and her smiling face every time that I needed something over there at the middle school while my kids were there. So I just wanted to say thank you for her time. Thanks.
Martin, thank you. Any other public comment? Any comment online? That moves us to number 3, the nomination of a board president. I would like to open the floor for nominations.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations?
Are you sure, thank you?
With the 8 people I have that I'm working with, yeah, we'll do fine. Any other nominations?
Move to close the nominations.
It's been moved and seconded to close the nominations. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
And
When a single person is nominated for office, the presiding officer states that, as the nominations are closed, and Jay Strunk is the only candidate nominated, I move for Jay's election by acclamation for the position of president. All those in favor, please say aye.
well, can we
Aye.
have a second on that, just to,
Oh, we need a second on that. Oh, we need
okay,
a,
that's fine. It's a motion, a second, you can vote.
all right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Right.
Thank you to each of the 8 of you. I look forward in us working together. Special thank you to Tina McIntyre, previous president, who I learned a lot from, and I think who guided this board well. Tina, if you're listening tonight, thank you, and I hope I can do at least as well as you did. So I appreciate that. All right, number 4, presentation.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask Mr. Subers to address, so now with Mr. Strunk being elected president, we now have an opening for vice president.
We do need to fill, there is a vacancy now in the office of vice president, so Mr. Strunk, you should call for nominations for vice president.
Like to open the floor for nominations for vice president.
Yes, indeed. I would like to nominate Bill Thompson, whether he wants it or not.
Is there a second? Second. Moved in second. Any other nominations? I
Same,
move for nominations to be closed, and as the nominations are closed and Bill Thompson is the only candidate nominated, I move for Bill's election by acclamation for the position of vice president. Any discussion?
I have a second, Jess. It's not clear whether or not a second is required.
We need a
but,
second?
Second, there.
We have 2 seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Bill, congratulations. Moving on to number 4, presentations, recognitions, and awards. We have Martin Shriver giving an update from Parks and Recreation Board. Seems like we just saw you not too long ago.
So the Pottsgrove Recreation Board met this past month, and I have some information here, but they want to continue their thanks for your support. Winter swimming had 22 participants. Community band is going well. Adult volleyball had 12 to 14 people on a regular basis, with some reaching 18. Youth volleyball had 12, or rather 18, sorry. Line dancing will continue comes March, and the walking club's coming back strong in April. Youth basketball is planned for the middle of March. One of the things that we chose to do this year was Summer Playground have early registration, and as of today, or as of the meeting, we had 40 registered participants, and that, as if you remember the last time I was here, most of the employees are either Pottsgrove students or graduates, and then and that runs from June 16th to July 19th. On July 20th, there's going to be a fundraiser summer concert series for Adventure Grove over in Lower Pottsgrove at the band, and if you could attend, that would be great. And that concludes it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and we could get them answered.
Yeah, could you repeat the date for the fundraiser?
July 20th.
And where's that going to be?
It's in Lower Pottsgrove at the band shelter over there.
Okay.
So I guess it was a good turnout last year. I was away for that. So.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Martin, thank you again. Number 5, report of the superintendent. Dr. Finnerty?
Good evening, everyone. Just one thing for this evening. You've heard us talk about this before. This is our PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports. It's a program that we're running K through 12. It's obviously stronger at our elementary levels. But I just wanted to call attention, all 3 of our elementary schools were recognized at the November 2024 annual statewide PBIS conference for continued fidelity of implementation of Tier 1 positive behavior interventions and support systems. This is one of our district goals to continue to develop our MTSS framework district-wide. Expansion of the MTSS PBIS framework at the secondary school continues, and our elementary buildings are working towards Tier 2 implementation with fidelity with the state network coordinators. Our middle school is a contender for initial recognition of Tier 1 fidelity of implementation of PBIS at the fall 2025 conference. So we're excited about moving forward. This is, again, it's a research-based program, and it's to support improving student outcomes. So I'm proud of the teams and proud of the recognition. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Finnerty. That moves us to agenda item 6, receiving of accounts for audit. 6.1 is accounts for audit November 2024.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the high school, middle school, and cafeteria accounts as presented for November 2024 and December 2024.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the accounts for November and December of 2024. Any discussion? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Number 7, Treasurer's Report.
I'd like to make a motion that we make a treasurer's report for November 2024 and December 2024 and file it for audit.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the Treasurer's Report for November and December of 2024. Any discussion?
I would just like to thank Mr. Linke for developing this report. This is a new report that we've been working on, and I appreciate Mr. Linke's work getting this to you. I think, we hope you find it a very informative report and that the format is acceptable to you all. We can look forward to this same kind of report moving forward. So thank you, sir.
Any other discussion?
Did I miss something? So we had receiving of accounts for audit for November and December. Did we do both of those? Yes.
voted it together.
Oh, together, okay, I missed that part, thank you.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the treasurer's report for both November and December of 2024. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Number 8, action items, personnel.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve personnel 8.1 through 8.3.
Moved and seconded that we approve personnel 8.1 through 8.3. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 8.4, support staff resignations and retirements.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 8.4.
Moved and seconded that we approve 8.4, support staff resignations and retirements. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to just thank Corey Rhodes for all her time. We did hear what a great person she was and wish her the best in her retirement.
Thank you. Anything else? If no discussion, then we are looking at, we have motion and a second for approving 8.4. That's correct? I listen. 8.4. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That moves us to 8.5, supplemental staff, Pottsgrove SOAR.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 8.5.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve 8.5, supplemental staff, Pottsgrove 4. Any discussion? If no discussion, those in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item 9, action items, business.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 9.1.
Moved and seconded to approve 9.1, confidential resolution. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. 9.2, TransFinder transportation software.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 9.2 with an explanation for the community.
Absolutely. So 9.2 is an agreement with TransFinder transportation software. What we're looking to do here is to improve our ability to meet the needs of our community with transportation services. We currently use a different software. With this new software, this is going to allow us more sophistication in being able to schedule routes, which means better service. This will also have a communication aspect to it where we'll be able to open information to parents through an app where they can actually see where their bus, how their bus is running for their child only. So we're excited about this, and this will help our partner at CMD be more responsive to the needs of our community.
Any other discussion? It's been moved and seconded to approve 9.2, the approval of the TransFinder transportation software. Those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. 9.3, acceptance of fee proposal.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 9.3.
Moved and seconded that we approve 9.3, acceptance of fee proposal. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Wait, I do have a
Yes?
question.
Sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
That's okay. So this is the same one, I think I'm reading through it right now, right? The Cole Lynch and Company for the appraisal, correct? Okay. I guess I just didn't realize that Medical Drive was Lower Pottsgrove. I was just a little surprised to see that. That is lower?
Yeah.
Huh. You know, I was today years old when I realized that. So, all right, I was just curious because I saw Medical Drive. I'm like, we don't, I'm gonna be talking about Medical Drive, but okay, that's it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve 9.3, the acceptance of fee proposal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Item number 9.4, approve the CMTA to provide professional services for the paving projects at the middle school and lower elementary.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 9.4.
Second?
Moved and seconded to approve 9.4. Any discussion?
Yes, for the benefit of the public and also for the board, I'd just like to speak briefly about this. So this was, so item 9.2, the bus software, and item 9.4 were items that we discussed in the Operations and Finance Committee earlier this month. This agreement is with CMTA to provide design, professional and construction management service for the paving projects. So we're looking at paving projects for middle school and lower. This also engages CMTA, who is the company that we used for the project at Ringing Rocks and also the project at West Pottsgrove. So this is engaging them as our project manager and also gauging, Benesh Services for the civil engineering portion of it. Okay?
Thank you. Any other discussion? So it's been moved and seconded to approve 9.4 for CMTA to do the paving projects. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 9.5, Ready to Learn Block Grant.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 9.5.
Moved and seconded to approve item number 9.5, the Ready to Learn Block Grant. Is there any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Moves us to agenda item number 10, Education.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 10.1.
Moved and seconded to approve 10.1, the admission of disciplinary infraction and waiver of former hearing. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. 10.2, Foster Grandparent Program of Montgomery County.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 10.2.
We have a motion and a second to approve 10.2, Foster Grandparent Program of Montgomery County. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. 10.3, Conference Attendance.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 10.3 and 10.4.
We have a motion and a second to approve 10.3, conference attendance at the Pennsylvania Athletic Director Association Annual Conference, and 10.4, conference attendance at the PASBO Annual Conference. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Moves us to agenda item 11. We're going to change the order here a bit. We're going to take 11.1 and then 11.3, which gives our Director of Athletics time to come into the room. He's in another location. So we're going to skip from 11.1 to 11.3 and then give Steve a chance to come in from a basketball game. So let's start with 11.1, Operations Finance Committee Report from January 14.
Yes, the meeting started at 6:03 p.m. There was an addition to the agenda, which I think Dr. Finnerty already mentioned. EI Associates came to the committee meeting to present on the athletic fields and the renderings of the football stadium. These are preliminary drawings. The EI team introduced themselves and gave past examples of the projects they have completed for other schools, including several in the area. EI Associates is doing the survey and design work on the high school tennis courts, so that's work that is scheduled. They brought the renderings for the concept plan for the high school football stadium. These were very preliminary drawings and show concept of what would be done to rebuild the stadium. These renderings show additional parking spaces, new track, new turf field, relocated concessions and bathrooms for the athletic trainer and security entrances on both sides of the field. New maintenance and grounds building, new grandstands on both sides of the field. The home grandstands will have enclosed storage underneath and new fencing for around the track and stadium. EI Associates will also give a potential schedule and timeline for the project if the district plans to move forward with the project. There was no price given at this time because that would be part of their later development. Under finance, there were no items. Under operations, there was a discussion. Some of this has already been talked about. The middle school and lower elementary paving projects. Discuss moving forward with the CMTA, ICS, and Benish, the contractors, to provide consulting, engineering, and project management for the repaving and repair of various areas of the middle school and lower Pottsgrove Elementary School. Benish was on site before the holiday break to survey the sites and provide the proposal based on the site survey. Casey Blankenbiller, Dr. Finnerty discussed the repaving and repair projects for the middle school and lower Pottsgrove parking lots. Discussion B, transfer versus bus boss for transportation software. This is pertains to an action of which we already approved. Administration is recommending replacement of the transportation software programs from BusBoss to TransFinder. TransFinder offers improved functionality over our current system as well as cost savings. It was also mentioned that it would be easier for people to contact where buses are so that you know when your kid's getting home. Attached is the TransFinder software it was the software agreement. If you want to see the copy, I think I can provide one for you. The process to convert TransFinder is a 5 to 6 month conversion, so it won't happen right away. After some discussion on what BusBoss does for the district and some of the upgrades that will come from moving to this new software, TransFinder, this will be moved to the current meeting for a vote, which has already happened. Discussion, information C, renovation of two locker room areas at the lower elementary school to convert the 2 locker rooms into a classroom space and modular style office spaces for one-on-one instruction. Dr. Finnerty and Casey Blankenbuilder also discussed the possibility of making the portico area space into the classroom, and this has been discussed for several years. For the cost of the locker rooms, but redoing the portico space instead, you would get more usable classroom space. Further discussion on this will occur at the next meeting. This meeting adjourned at 7:01 p.m. on, I forget the date. January 14th, thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Any questions of Chuck regarding the Operations Finance Committee? And there's no need to vote here. We just accept the report.
Yeah,
in terms of moving
because
on.
the voting has already been done.
And Chuck, thank you for the work you're doing in leading that committee. That leads us to, we're jumping to 11.3 and then back to 11.2. We're going to change it back now. Well, let him wait since we waited for him. You're on the clock, is that right? Are we winning? Leads us, we'll go to 11.2, Athletics Co-Curricular Community Relations Committee report headed by Patty.
Well, at this time, I'd like to see if Mr. Ansbach could come out. Yes.
Well, thank you. We had a wonderful meeting on January 21st, an hour-long of great discussion regarding athletics and co-curricular and community relations. The first thing we discussed was our winter sports participation numbers at both the high school and the middle school. This year and the last 4 years are our highest numbers ever. So that's a credit to our student athletes and our parents getting kids involved. I think our communication is good, and I know Martin Schreiber's sitting here, so I want to give him a shout out as well, as he supports us in the middle school and getting the communication out effectively to our students. So it's very encouraging, and we hope to see the continued growth within our athletic programs. We also talked about an athletic facility improvement plan. This is an ongoing thing that we've discussed since I've been here regarding a 5 to 10 year plan regarding improvements in our athletic facilities. We did discuss 5 things on that plan, which was the improvement of our 7th grade baseball field at the middle school. That is in some desperate need of care to improve that field. Our middle school stadium field, some tender loving care to that. Tennis courts, which we've all discussed at the board level. A gymnasium court resurface at both the middle school and lower. This is something that hasn't been done in for some time, and they are starting to delaminate and change colors. And then the high school stadium renovation project. So within our conversation, some of these things can be done in-house. Some of these things potentially, if the board was willing, would have to go out to bid. But Casey and myself and Dr. Finnerty have had some good conversations regarding some of the needs from an improvement in our athletic facilities here at Pottsgrove. The next thing we talked about was girls flag football. So girls flag football is now a PIAA sport. It'll be effective in the spring of 2026. This is a very, very fast-growing sport within the PIAA. This spring, there will be 6 teams in our conference of 12 that are going to have this program. I've received some interest from our students. Mr. Ansbach, is this something we're considering? So we had a discussion at our committee level regarding sending out a survey to our students to see potentially what the interest would be regarding starting a girls flag football program. There's still a lot of work to do, and where we would play, what times of the day, scheduling, et cetera. But I did want to bring it to the committee's attention because it is a program that is moving very fast. It was a program that was started three to 4 years ago by the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. But it's taking off very rapidly within the state. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the committee. I also provided the committee with a quick recap of our non-athletic co-curricular programs that are happening within our high school. I figured we'd break it down at one meeting, high school, and then middle school, and then we'll go to our elementaries at a next meeting regarding everything that's going on non-athletically and within our arts and within the music department. There is a lot going on in Pottsgrove, and I think it's very beneficial to continue to bring this up at all because of the hard work that our students put in and our advisors throughout the district. One thing that came up within that co-curricular meeting was a quick discussion about club event scheduling. We've had some overlap. So we discussed this is to help the individual clubs and associations so they're not doing the same thing at the same time. So Mrs. Kleinfelter is going to help investigate communication pathways and improve coordination for all activities so we're not doing the same thing and clubs are continuing to grow. The last part on my end was the community relations side, and I just wanted to highlight, and some of these are repeats, but I think they're important of the great things that we have done over the last 3 or 4 months. Toss your turkey race, which we discussed, but $4,000 is going to be given out to local organizations in need. We had the YWCA Toy Drive that Mrs. Kohler was in that discussed about. That was also one of our top hits on social media that was organized by Mrs. Kohler, Mrs. Wagner, but one of our juniors who's also on the basketball team, Bryce Phillips, kind of led the way, and we collected a lot of toys to be handed out. The B101 thing, great for our course program, but also a community initiative. If we didn't have our community and our families get behind it, they would not have been at the Wells Fargo singing in front of that crowd, and I was there, and it was exceptional. So congratulations to our course program, but also thanks to our community for having their back and promoting them. And on December 28th, we hosted a wrestling tournament, our youth wrestlers who we work with continually, our youth programs, and they had 600 wrestlers come through our gym, and the only thing I heard from people leaving of how positive and how great our high school facilities was, so that was a good look for our district. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Kleinfelter and her community engagement piece.
next, we talked about social media recaps for the last 3 months and also for the year of 2024. We are up, our yearly engagement from last year was 174,000, and we're up 50,000 from the year prior. So that's great news for, the district in general and the communications department. We also talked about how we started using Reels recently. They have been a big hit for engagement as well. We had 5,000 views on Facebook and 4,000 views on Instagram with our first reel that we put out. I have also taken on 2 student interns since December. So I have 2 seniors, Kerrigan Mayberry and Robin Rizzatello. They've been a great addition to my team. They assist me with getting content at the high school and other buildings, taking pictures, coming up with new ideas to get student engagement, and just anything that I need help with in the communications world. And as I said, they've been a great addition to my team. As Mr. Onsbach said about the organizations and creating a better way to move forward and not have all the events at the same time, I did send out an email to the Pottsgrove organizations and clubs, PTAs and boosters, to fill out a calendar. So we're going to start sending out a social media calendar of all of those events so that everyone's on the same page. So that's one of the ways we're going to move forward with that. That's all I have for social media, communications.
Questions? Good? Yeah, the only thing I was going to say too is with this, the service or the service learning piece, I have 3 as well. So the 2 of us have 5 student service learners, which is pretty cool, and that continues to grow. And I think that's great for our student body that we're doing it. And just the 2 of us have 5 that are helping us promote our initiatives in our district. So it's a great thing.
Thank you. Any questions regarding the Athletics Co-Curricular Community Relations Committee?
Great report.
Stephen Shadeen, thank you for all you do. Patty, thank you for your leadership of this committee. Moves us to 11.3, Curriculum Instruction Technology Committee report led by Jim.
Good evening. All right. It's just not doing what I wanted to do. That's quite all right. The Curriculum Instruction and Technology Committee met on January 21st. We had 4 agenda items to discuss that evening. The first were district calendars for the 2025-26 and the 2026-27 school year. You may notice that in the past, we've always done one at a time. We thought it would be nice for the community, for families, planning, vacations, all of that, to start doing that in 2-year increments. It's actually a trend that we see among school districts. So we discussed what those could look like, some draft calendars. That immediately went into another agenda item, flexible instruction days, or if you're in the education business, you've heard us term them FID days. Flexible instructional days are allowed by the state of Pennsylvania and are permitted to be, if you have an approved plan for that, you can use up to a maximum of 5 per year. And really the idea behind them is when something outside of the ordinary causes a school closure, you have the ability to provide instruction online. Actually, a lot of people think they were developed during COVID time. It was actually developed before COVID time. And then we learned all about that during COVID. Currently within our calendar, we do have an approved FID program. We only moved to that after 5 days. So currently we have 181 student days built into our calendar. We always have that 181. That it was 1 extra day than required, so that we don't have to make that 1 extra day up for our students, although our staff does. And additional days are built in throughout the year as holidays, but they might move to an instructional day in the event of a school closure. We do this because we believe that, and data shows that kids learn better when they're in our buildings than they do online. So that's something that we believe to be true, and as a result, we kind of stick to that. Both these agenda items generated quite a bit of conversation around what that could look like. And as a result of that conversation, we are currently working on drafting some new calendars in terms of what those would look like, and we will come back to the committee next month in February to discuss those draft calendars as well. Moving on, we also talked about curriculum alignment. This is a rather large goal for us, and we have a specific action plan that's in place, really aimed at a systemic review of our core curriculum. So this is inclusive of English language arts, mathematics, science and social studies, K all the way up through 12th grade, and really looking at our curriculum, instruction, and assessments, making sure that all of that is aligned with our PA core standards. That's a massive undertaking. Our teachers are very much involved in that process. Our administration's very much involved in that process. One of the things that we're very excited about is being even more transparent with the community, so that when a child hops into the back seat at the end of the day and mom or dad or grandma asks, "What did you do today?" and the child replies nothing, the community will be able to see exactly what that student did, and that'll be helpful in having those conversations. So we are working toward developing a platform online where all of that information will be available. We asked the committee for some feedback about that. We had a draft of what that could look like. We got some feedback, but I tasked and challenged the committee with continuing to reflect upon the best means of communication for that information as well. The final agenda item was about Keystone exams. Keystone exams, just as a reminder, are end-of-course assessments for Algebra 1, Biology, and Literature, which occur mostly at our high school, although we do have some students at the middle school who might be engaged in Algebra 1. Because of the number of students that are involved at the high school, it's required some revisions at the high school to a daily schedule. That's included delayed starts, whatever the case might be. At the request of the committee, there was a discussion about that, and as a result of that discussion, I believe Mr. Lappick asked administration to put together a draft of what it could look like this year in terms of scheduling that out for the community and for our students. Mr. Lappick, anything I missed, sir? Any questions?
Any questions for our CIT committee? Daniel, thanks for all you do. Jim, thank you for your leadership on this committee. Moves us to item number 12, new business. Let's start with Chuck and just go around the room.
No business.
Well, thank you, Chuck. Did you say no business?
No business.
No business. Tanya? Anik? Patty?
Yes, I would like to see if Mr. Horney could come up and talk to us about the TSA competition the kids did great at. He'll take my slot.
Hello, everyone. Oh, okay. I think I switched to the right camera. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Ori. I teach tech ed here. This is our second year doing TSA here. We went to our regional competition last weekend. We went to Pembroke Middle School. We took 26 students to compete. We competed in 23 different events. And we did really well, and I'm really excited about it. So we took some awards, and I'd like to read these out. So first place in board game design, first place in fashion design and technology, first place in virtual reality simulation, first place in tech bowls, second place in prepared presentation, third place in photographic technology. We also placed in music production, STEM mass media, which is broadcasting, which is a class I teach, audio podcasting, children's stories, video production, technology problem solving. So we did really, really well. I'm super proud of the students. We qualified 20 students to go to states, which is huge. I am currently working on getting all that figured out. So I am hoping to come back after April and share with you the successes that we have there. Thank you to Dr. Smith, who's been supporting us, Monique, who judged at our competition, so thank you for coming and doing that. I'm just really excited about it. So, any questions?
Just a comment, you know, I always say it takes a tribe, but what you've done for these students is remarkable.
Thank you.
And I cannot thank you enough, and the numbers are growing.
Yes, we're getting there.
Yes,
So,
congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate it.
And you say Jocelyn placed,
Jocelyn competed, yeah, and she's going to go to states. So we're-
good, how'd you end up?
She's done better.
Yeah, I've done that.
So
You were
it's okay.
there.
Yes.
You made it there.
Yeah.
Any questions of Seth or Jocelyn?
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank you. I was watching the YouTube channel, and my wife's and my dog made it on the pet announcement several weeks
There
ago.
you go.
Skylar. You saw that, Jocelyn. Just a tremendous looking animal.
Thank you.
Skylar. Thank you for putting her on.
Of course.
I think your kids there are having a lot of fun with
Thank
those
you.
announcements.
Thank
For
you,
people
yeah.
that haven't seen it, you can give them the date or look at it. It's just for seeing the picture of the dog alone is worth it.
Yeah, at Falcon Films on YouTube. We post every single day, morning announcements. So take the class. We're growing.
I'm waiting for like dog of the year or something.
Dog of the
too,
year.
Lawrence.
We'll
Yeah,
work on
all
it.
right.
We'll work on it.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Patty, thank you. That was you. And if you just pass that down. Two new business from me. One, I'm passing around, I just did a quick spreadsheet of where we currently stand with our board committees. The asterisk there is just the committee head that is there. I'm doing this both for Lewis's benefit as a new member and also for anyone else who is considering joining another committee or switching. You can see I tallied the number on the right side of the column. A good goal for committees is 4 people. If we have more than that, that's the same as the full board because we'd have a quorum there. So we'd like to keep committees at 4, but as you can see, we have 2 that are at 3 and 1 that is at 2. I give this to you to take a look at. I'm asking 2 things. I'd like to give Lewis first choice. I mean, you don't have a choice of all 5, but if you could look at this, or if you have questions of any of us, you can tell us that, Lewis, but I'd appreciate just shoot me an email or a phone call. There is no target number of how many committees a board member should be on. As you look at this list, you see that some are on 1, some are on 2, and some are on 3. So as much time as you have to devote, we really could use your help in terms of that. Other board members, as you look at this list, if you'd like to add one or take one away or you'd like something else, I can't promise you we can make that work. It just depends on what that does to the numbers, and if you want to add yourself to one, there's already 4 there, somebody would have to drop. But I'd like to hear your thinking if you have it. If I don't hear from you, I don't. But if we can, what I'd like to do is at least get each of those 5 committees up to 4 people. I think it gives us, it just gives us better brain power with having that number of people. Patty, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, thank you for doing this. But Louis, maybe what a suggestion I can make to you is come to some of the committee meetings. They're always open to the public. Any board member can come anytime, because I'll pop in here and there. But that way it'll give you a little feel for what they're all about.
I appreciate that.
That's a helpful comment, Patty. Lewis,
Yeah.
there's no difference between a board member attending a committee meeting or officially being on that committee. You still have a voice, you still have an opinion which is equal. It's just that I think there's probably standards that talk about an official member not wanting to have a quorum, which would be 5 or more, as opposed to having 4. So not being on a committee doesn't mean, as Patty said, doesn't mean you can't be there and speak your voice. Any other comments on this list or thoughts? The second, then, new business I have, there is a, Lewis, there is a technology center, a Western Montgomery Career and Technology Center that some of our students go to, along with students from Springford and Upper Perk. The board there, the board actually of the technical center is all 12 members of the 3 school districts, which would be 36 people, but that's awfully large to conduct business. So standards create what's called a joint operating committee, or a JOC, which is 3 members from each of the 3 sending school districts that we have. You can see, I think I put those names here. on this list I gave you, the Joint Operating Committee. There is a meeting of the Western Center Joint Operating Committee this coming Monday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Western Center. On that agenda will be a discussion of the proposed Western Center budget for fiscal year or school year, I get this confused, 25, 26. Please, and even the public here, come out and hear, because you'll hear where those dollars are proposed to go. We contribute to that, as does Springford and Upper Perk. So I just,
Could
the
you
meeting is
give
there.
the time of the,
Thanks.
time
It's
and location?
7 p.m. at the Western Montgomery Career and Technology Center. Don't know the address. I think it's on Greater Fur Road in Limerick. Chuck, does that give you what?
Yeah, I just wanted for the,
Actually, we have a link.
since everybody's invited, I think this is good to give them where it is.
Yeah, Chuck, Patty, and I have submitted budget questions that we wanted them to prepare, and I talked to the administrative director today. He's working on his answers to those questions, so it should be an interesting meeting in terms of that. Any other questions on that?
One quick thing. There is a link on our PGSD homepage to the Western Center that could help you get there.
Dr. Finnerty, any new business?
Just right now we have 4 basketball games going on, and it's been a wonderful basketball season, wonderful sports season generally. I do want to give a shout out to our boys varsity team is performing at a very high level right now. We have our second last game on Thursday here versus Pottstown. That is going to be very important for us, ensuring that we're ready for playoffs. So if you can make that, please turn out and support the boys. Not only are they outstanding athletes, they're fine young men, and I'm very proud and happy for the success they're having.
Thank you, Dr. Finnerty. Ashley? Bill? And congratulations, Bill. Thank you. On what? Just for having nothing, that's what. Jim? Was that a no? Lewis, new business from you? No new business. Nothing? You've been with us for an hour and you have no new business?
Unfortunately, not yet.
All right.
Try to have a little more next time.
Lewis, welcome to the board.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments? A motion, did you have something?
Public comment.
Oh, any public comments? Nothing online? Anyone in the room? One online. Hi, Tina. I think we can hear you. If you just let us know, just restate your name and the township you live in.
My name is Tina Capiello. I live in Upper Pottsgrove Township. I am sorry that my face is not up. I'm going to put my face on so you can see me.
Just know that we can't see you, although the people running the system see your face. We don't have a
so
screen.
it doesn't matter.
All right, we don't have a screen facing us, but
Okay, so
I'm sure you look good.
I live in Upper Pottsgrove Township. I'm a taxpayer, a mom, a grandmother of kids that have been in the system, are in the system, and I work for the district. I'm coming to you as the taxpayer, the parent, and the grandparent. I am asking if there was, from what happened last January 24th, Friday, if there was an investigation into the crisis protocol for what happened last Friday at the high school.
Yeah, Tina, we don't answer questions during public comment. It is just public comment, but I'm
Oh,
sure.
okay.
I'm
Then,
sure
okay.
that.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. You're fine. I'm sure
Okay.
that Dr.
So anyway,
Finnerty
I'll
would be more than
continue.
happy
I
to
know
reach
you
out
don't
to you
answer.
about
I just
that.
wanted to put that out there. Anyway, if in fact there was under the Sunshine Law, I would like that to be disclosed to the public. If not, I'm just curious, as we've had incidents in the past concerning the actions of students. I have spoken about them At previous meetings, I even requested more help at our school to control such situations. We have 3 security officers now, but none are able to go hands-on from my understanding. The incident from Friday involved a student throwing a book bag at the library window, then proceeding to break sanitizer dispensers from the walls. Teachers heard this and, of course, out of caution, brought their students back into their rooms. One teacher who was in the lobby doing work heard this happening and went to the office window and told them, "There are only 2 to 3 minutes left in the period. You should put a call out." No call went out. I heard the commotion from my room and asked what was going on. I was told, as a precaution, students were being told to stay in the rooms after the bell rang. Upon hearing this, I went back to my room and tried to usher my students back in, but they had already started to leave because the bell had rung. Shortly thereafter, I heard an announcement that all students could proceed to their second period class and lockdown was over. The problem with that is a lockdown was never called. As a taxpayer, I would like to know, one, why one was not called as an Alice protocol to keep all students safe, as we were taught, and that us as taxpayers pay for. Also, the destruction of property paid by us, the taxpayers, there was no call to the local police for destruction of property. I have asked for more security before, yet we have security guards with no authorization to act and control students who are having a behavioral situation from continuing to roam the hallways. I do not know this student, but would think that would have been a reason to secure students and a lockdown be called. I am trying to understand why these situations like these continue to happen. I have grandchildren in the district and know this can sometimes happen at other schools, as it has happened to me as an employee. I am hoping that if this happened at a primary school, the Alice Protocol would take effect. The Alice Protocol is the only thing we have. We pay for them to come in, taxpayers, and train us, yet is the protocol really being used? Since Lower Pottsgrove police have been removed from our district, the incidents of the high school have gotten worse. I have been in the district for 30 years. My daughter graduated in 2021, and she was shocked to hear me tell her stories about what is happening at the high school. There were instances, yes, but not as many as we are having now. Teachers cannot intervene, and neither can security. Who is protecting the children? The Alice Protocol is the only thing we have. Thank you for your time.
Tina, thank you for sharing your concerns. They get noted here. I hope you understand the board typically does not comment because there are 9 members here. We could end up having 9 different opinions, which only adds to the confusion rather than helps it. So for that reason, during comments, we do not respond to that, but leave it back to the administration of the school to coordinate responses as they and we as a board see appropriate. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you very much. I did not realize that. I apologize.
Thank you. Well, no, you can imagine that if we had comment from 9 people, potentially chaos, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, chaos results, I guess is that. Again, thank you for sharing your concerns with that. They get noted here. I did not mention and should have that we limit the comment to 2 minutes. For that reason, Tina, I let you talk a bit longer than that. I shouldn't say I let you. You talked longer than that. I didn't feel it was right to cut you off given the passion of your concern.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for calling and
You're
calling in. Any other public comment? Motion to adjourn? Moved and second for adjournment. Those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Meeting is adjourned.